Tesla has unveiled the more affordable Model Y and, to a little bit of surprise, the more affordable Model 3. Some are saying these are priced too high, some are saying these are featured and spec'd too low, but maybe these are exactly what Tesla needs, or maybe we could do a little bit better. And when I say we, I mean I got Nick Gibbs here, very controversial figure. He is the yin to my yang. He balances out some of my insanity with some of his own fresh insanity. He runs a channel called Investing Against the Grain. Link in the description. We're going to have a chat about it. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. Nick, so great to have you on. I never get to see a one-on-one. It's pretty unusual.
Yeah, it's funny. I was about to sing the intro song. Oh. I'm so used to hearing from the other side.
I was told at an event, I go to a lot of events. I'll be in Michigan this weekend. I'll be in Tampa by the way, I'll be in Tampa for the...
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, let me know.
Yeah. So I will be there in November. So let's hang out.
Let's sync up. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do a lot
I won't bail on you this time.
It was Super Bowl.
I know. We don't have to put that part. People don't need to know that part.
That's true. So anyway, people have told me that when they hear me introduce like a panel, they'll say, I can hear the music. Yeah. All right. Well, it's reflexive. So the 3 and Y came out, 3S and YS. Impressions? What do you like? What do you dislike?
There are a few things I like. Believe it or not, I think aesthetically, I like the no light bar better. I think the light bar looks great on the Cybercab. I think it looks great on the Cybertruck. I think it looks a little cheesy on the Model Y, and I don't know if 3 has it, but on the Y, on the Y, it looks a little not cheesy, cheap. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I hate to sit there and think that I have a better design eyes and Franz does, but it's just how it reads to me. It reminds me a little bit of how I feel, I guess, with the Ford Lightning light bar. It just looks cheap. So I think it's a nice nod back to the Y I have. I have a 2023 Model Y Performance Hardware 4. So I don't know. The lights are more aggressive. They're more have more of a masculine look to them. So I like that a lot. I think that gives a nice reverting back to the old one. It's refreshed in its own way, but it's not what the other Ys are. So I like that a lot, and I'm spending a little time on that. But I do think that it makes a noticeable difference. I mean, it's the main part of the vehicle you see. So I like that a lot. And I like that they removed the buttons from the side of the chair for adjustments. I think that should have been gone a long time ago. I've long said that it's one of the few things that it's stupid to have buttons for that. I get people are long to get used to things, whatever, people like their buttons, which I don't get. I think it's silly. Get rid of it, put it all on the screen. I don't need a button, just put in the screen. I don't change the seat functions that often. It makes more sense for that to be there. If you're someone who I guess is just changing your seat settings 24/7, then I guess I can understand why you don't like that, but I don't know. It makes so much sense for me to be in there. So I think they did a lot of good things like that. I do think that they did some smart decisions for where they try to save costs, making the battery pack lighter, taking out the motors for the side mirrors. Again, things that you're not going to notice it because you don't do it on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I use it for, go through a car wash. I like to close them so that the car wash doesn't fold them backwards. But I mean, I don't even, that's just a nitpick thing in there, I guess, a little nicety. But I think they made some good decisions. Now, what I don't like, just to do it all in one shot here, I don't like what they did with the ceiling. It just reeks of old, stale. It doesn't. Teslas have this greenhouse effect into them, which is a beautiful, feels light, airy, spacious. And I feel like covering that up with a fabric is disservice to the brand and the ethos of what Tesla is. Again, that might sound lame or cheesy or whatever, but it's how I feel. I genuinely feel that way, that there's a certain experience you get when you get into a Tesla, and that's one of them. Even if you're not looking up all the time, you don't need to. That the light you get in and the way things feel big and open, is a Tesla iconic. That's how you know you're in a Tesla. So I wish they wouldn't have done that. I think the frunk, I'm kind of mixed on that. I don't, I guess I maybe 60-40. 60, like, okay, I don't mind it. But the reason I'm like kind of teetering is because, one, to not make it waterproof and to leave it looking half finished.
Unfinished.
Yeah, it's just not a good look. But the reason I'm like, is like you're trying to save cost somewhere. And to be honest, I rarely ever use my frunk. Rarely ever do I open it. So it's like, all right, again, going back to like the motors on the side, the side mirrors. How often are you moving that? Your chair settings. How often are you really moving that? So I do think that they pick and chose in areas of like, how often does a human actually go and interface with this area? The lights, great one to pull out. Because guess what? I have a Model Y Performance 2023 hardware 4. I don't got lights. I'm fine with that. No big deal. The screen in the back, same thing. Model Y Performance hardware 4 2023. I don't have a screen in the back there. And guess what? There's plenty of companies that can retrofit so you can put a screen back there. So I think all that's good, or good and bad. Last two things, I think good was that this whole autopilot thing, I don't think it's subjective. I think subjective. It's the right move. Get rid of autopilot. Get rid of all of that. FSD, single focus. Be myopic about it. Do it well. Do it good. And just push FSD. Push the narrative on FSD. Supporting other versions of the software, it's just entropy for the company. And we don't need any more entropy in that company. And then the last thing, the thing I don't like the most, is the execution. Tesla hyped this up. They shouldn't have been hyping this up. They hyped it up, released at a price that once again will say it's not something that's going to be needle moving. I think it will go the same way the Cybertruck did, where it's just going to be a flop, unless this is strategic and they're just trying to do a market discovery for price and they slowly lower it down because they have the ability to. I don't know. But if that's not the case, and this is the price, my point of view is if $72 per month is what's making your decision on whether you go with this or the one a little better, I'm of the opinion you probably don't need to be buying a new car. You should probably, like, if you're, and listen, everyone keeps saying that. I don't understand I grew up poor, guys. Like, I don't want to say I'm a self-made man. I built a community network. Like, none of us do anything alone. As you can tell here in Tesla community, we all support each other. But my point is, like, I've lived that life. I've struggled. I've gone through. I've made stupid mistakes, and I've been able to come out on the other end. And I'm here to tell you, if you're struggling financially to where you're paycheck to paycheck, which 70% of all Gen Zers are, 60% of all millennials are, 20% of boomers are, paycheck to paycheck, you do not belong anywhere near a Tesla showroom. You should not be buying a car at all. I feel so strongly about this. To hell with Tesla and the sales. Take care of your house financially first. Tesla will be fine. And I feel strongly about that. I feel more strongly about that when people are sitting there trying to push, like, oh, well, people can afford a little more. It's like, if you know someone who's in that position, they're like, oh, now I can kind of squeeze it. You're not a good friend. You should be telling them, hey, man, maybe you don't need to be buying this. Like, if it's that tight for you, I don't know. I feel very, very strongly about financial literacy. I feel like it's a big issue we have in this country, more so than anywhere else. And I'll stop there because I'll just go on a rant about this.
Sure. Well, I will offer some of my perspectives. First of all, guys, the fact that we disagree is why he's here. If you want an echo chamber, those exist everywhere. There are a lot of things I do agree with. Let's start with the features. A lot of the things they cut are things that people appreciate but wouldn't pay extra for if they were given the option. If you really want, I know people who will never turn on the ambient lighting. It's just not.
That's a great way of saying it too, by the way. That the way you just framed that was a great way. I wouldn't pay extra for those. I wouldn't.
Yeah. If it's included, I'll use it. If they gave me an option at delivery, we'll knock $200, $500 off, whatever it is. I'd have said, yeah, cut it. It'd be nice if we could pick and choose. I'd have preferred. We recently got the Model 3 rear wheel drive. It has the ambient lighting. What it doesn't have is a subwoofer. I'd trade that in a heartbeat because that's what I'm about. Some people can't tell the difference between any good sound system. So the even more reduced sound system is fine for them. People have been criticizing Tesla for a long time. I don't want a computer on wheels. I just want a car. Well, this is as close as you're going to get. I would say, no, I prefer having the seat adjustments, but now that you mention it, I don't adjust my seat. Maybe once a year, twice a year on a road trip because I'm uncomfortable and I want to sit differently for a bit. That's it. I would have said the same about the mirror adjustments, which it's never had anywhere but the screen. And I don't adjust my mirrors either. The only time I've needed to was when I had a guy in a jacked up pickup behind me blinding me. And I just adjusted that one out. It took no time at all. Very easy. So a lot of those features, the rear screen, oh my gosh, when we first got the new 3, it was so exciting for a week. And now we don't really use it. So I'm with you on that. The rear screen, even with people back there, doesn't get much use.
Even with, I don't know how old your kids are, even with them in the back. They're older.
The youngest is 15.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe if they were younger, it'd be more exciting to just burn through YouTube all day. On road trips, sometimes we'll have them put on a movie that we've all seen 100 times. So in the front, we can hear it.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea, actually.
Yeah, put on Tommy Boy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because then you already know what's going on. You don't have the urge to look, like you just know. Yeah.
You just know.
Great idea.
Reruns of old TV shows. Great. I get the jokes. It's fine.
Yeah, Seinfeld. Yeah, that's kind of until our baby was just born. That's like what we watch at night, just like to fall asleep.
Yeah. Now, in the comments from our live stream, some people were saying, Nick keeps saying $72. Where's that come from? I don't see that anywhere. No. That's the $5,000 financed, right?
Correct. Yeah. Most people are going to finance it. Most people aren't just going to pay lump sum. They're going to amortize it out through a loan. And if you look at that and you just compare, it's just easy math. It's $72 more a month. And even Elon has said people don't buy based on the price of the car. They buy based on their monthly payments. Yes. And when I say people, I'm generalizing. Of course, there's some people that pay in cash for brand new cars. That is not the majority of America. I am going to address the majority of America.
When I was a loan officer, it was explained to me by an appraiser because they were doing lighter and lighter appraisals. In the 90s, you would get very thorough appraisals, and they got lighter and lighter because people don't buy houses, they buy payments, and banks don't lend on houses, they lend on people. I mean, yes, the house is the collateral, but really it's the person whose finances we need to assess. So yes, it is a payment people are buying. To the people saying that Nick is out of touch, and that $5,000 is a lot of money, I would agree with that. $5,000 is a lot of money. If $5,000 didn't matter, just add $5,000 to all the prices across the board. It's still the best car. Price sensitivity is real. I don't know how much this will move the needle because we've got Q4 headwinds. Even if on the 30th of the month, the credit was extended, a lot of people who would be buying right now already bought. So that's a headwind for the U.S. market alone.
Can I provide context to that?
Yes.
When I said that 5,000 is really nothing, the context behind that is we just had the EV tax credit, $7,500, which you could get a better car, again, objectively, because it has all the things that they're stripping out, for less.
For $2,500 less.
So the question is, how many people do you really think for going into Q4 are going to be sitting there on the sidelines that all of a sudden now they've decided, hey, yeah, for a little more money than what it was a month ago, let's get a lesser car. And it's not just that. It's also the way this has been pitched. All right. Tesla has been pitching this for a while. Tesla has talked about $25,000 price. Tesla's talked about a $30,000 price. They've talked about a 32, 33. These are literally numbers coming out of Elon's mouth. I didn't make these numbers up. Elon said these out of his mouth, and everyone can make all
a lot of things.
Yeah, but
I know
people say things,
right? And we hear things, and then they stick.
Yeah, well, until I'm of the opinion that I do not really believe what anyone says about Tesla, even when Bloomberg seems to be right 50% of the time. I still don't believe it until I hear it from Tesla's mouth, or meaning Elon, or if Tesla says something, I won't believe it. I don't operate that way. When the company says it, okay, then I'll believe it. because it doesn't matter. Like I'm not making any financial decisions based off these rumors or whatever. But so when you hear that, and then the hype that went into it, to then be like, boom, guys, $5,000 lower, which is still not as cheap as what it was 2 days ago. But here you go, and it's stripped down, and it's like, okay, it's a letdown. It's like, all right, that's it. All this hype, all this time, 6 quarters of we're pushing this out, we're working on this, we're close, all this for that.
Well, we'll talk about price extensively in the second half of this question. We're just finishing up on the features itself. To the people saying that you are too out of touch, and you saying no, I grew up not rich, I grew up wanting. I would remind the viewers that Nick only grew up like 6 months ago. At least according to my viewers. So that's recent history. It's not like I know people who are of about retirement age who did have poor upbringings, who are definitely a million miles from that today and may not have the same kind of perspective. In terms of when you said maybe they should be looking at used, I tell everyone to look at used because you can get a car that's 3 years old for a really good price. And these are, well-loved cars. They are well taken care of. Somebody paid a lot of money for that car and loved it.
And I was just doing that today. I was looking for a Model X that was hardware for. I'm like, what are these going for used? Is there a good deal here? Because I would love to get into a Model X now that I have a little one. I think it's a little more convenient to take them in and out.
I looked at them and I didn't see the bargains were as astounding on the X because it's such a limited, product that I just don't think they've been hitting the used market as much as the 3s and Ys. I would say that I don't know that Tesla's responsible for the hype. I think I'm responsible for the hype. I think a lot of people on YouTube and X are responsible for the hype. But I will say that putting out the teaser trailer was
two teasers.
Yeah.
The way they invited all the YouTube influencers to a couple days, it's just it became a show.
It did. Okay, so now let's talk about the price.
Yeah.
Because we have to maintain a positive margin. I don't know what more they could have cut to reduce the price. I'm confident they can, exactly as the car is shipped today, cut another 1,000 or 2 off it. And I think we may see that by, if not the end of the quarter, maybe even the end of the month. What do you think the price should be?
I think 34.9 is something that would drive volume. 34.9, I think, is and I don't know what the math is on that on a monthly basis, but it's probably at least $140. It's
another $72 cheaper.
Yeah. So $140. That is essentially the same delta between I guess, whatever the higher premium one is before the next premium. Before they might be doing too many models at this point, but I think that price range would be good. And I'm not convinced that this is the real price. The more I think about it, the more I do think this is market discovery to see. You don't. Let's say that they can sell it for $33,000 and still make like a 5-10% margin on it. Let's say that's the case. Why would they ever start at that price?
Right.
It makes sense to start at 39. All right. Well, if we need more demand, drop it to 38. If we need more demand, okay, drop it to 37. You need price discovery. And so I think there's a good chance that this is a little bit of a red herring, and we'll see what happens as the quarter goes on. But I think 34.9, it's like, all right, this is very compelling in many ways.
So I'm thinking that, by the way, we did also get comments, you and I both, regardless of what we said,
we're beautiful.
That we must think we're smarter than Elon. And I don't see that being our conclusion. I think Elon is smart enough to know start high, find out what the market is, pull the levers as needed. And also, it's very dismissive to say, oh, you think you're smarter than Elon. It's nonsense. Elon has been the first to admit he's not always right. They brought back blinkers and shift gear levers. So
and they took off the new Cybertruck.
Yeah. So not everything. He's the first to admit that there are things he can do better.
There's this. it's almost a little sickening because it screams of almost politics mentality.
Hmm.
You can disagree with someone in something they do and not think they're an idiot or you're smarter or you're better than them. We got to get away from this. If you say one thing, that's it. That's everything you think is in that realm and that disagreement. And you're better and smarter than Elon. It's like, guys, we're all humans. We're all allowed to have point by point opinions. And I think the people who make comments like that do a disservice to society. And it's
I
not just that one
absolutely.
person, it's the volume of it over time gives people the almost the fear to even speak up. And I think we need to have a little more, some would say grace.
I would agree. When Elon said the YL will not be out until the second half of next year in the US, maybe if ever, I said, I'm confident it will come out and it may even come out in the first half. And I got ruthlessly attacked by some X.com hyperbears saying, how dare you? And I said, no, no, no. This is it makes sense. You don't want to Osborne your current lineup, and this model will likely sell quite well in the U.S. And for that matter, if it's released in the second half of next year, people will say it was right on time. If it's released in the first half, they'll say, "Look at that, ahead of schedule." So it's a no-lose situation for Elon. But I got attacked, guys. My analysis doesn't change. This isn't. I'm not saying what I want to happen. If I predicted the car would be $39,990. That's not the price I wanted to see. That's just the price I predicted. So the next question is the international market, where the pricing didn't drop or increase because of the IRA. That those markets should be able to see it. We believe that Berlin is tooling up right now to begin producing the YS. It is possible that China would also produce them at some point. In those markets, does this 5,000 help?
So here's something controversial. I
Uh-oh, I'm
think
ready.
the YS3S, I think they're going to be extremely popular in Europe.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
more so than here. More so than here. I think it's going to be a hit over there.
Yes. Those are tailwinds for this quarter. So we've got headwinds in the US, but we've got tailwinds in other markets. The YL is still ramping in China. I saw people after 3 weeks declaring it a flop. I said, that's not when you declare something a flop. And then, of course, in week 4, it outsold the first 3 weeks combined. Come on, guys, do better. What about the idea of bundling in some things to make it $39,900? Maybe you bundle in enhanced autopilot. I agree. Maybe don't do that because we want to get rid of that software stack entirely. But maybe even free colors or free. I don't know. I don't know what you get. I know there are people who've been saying, why don't you just bundle FSD into every car? I think there would be pushback on that because how many vehicles there are with FSD is one of Elon's pay metrics. I think that might be viewed as a conflict of interest. What about that, though? Bundling.
Yeah, I think Tesla is a company, an auto manufacturer that has the rare ability to do bundles. You can do a mix of supercharging. I think FSD is good. I think it's a good lever to pull when you need it, and I think we'll probably see some of that pulled. What with the bundles, something that actually I don't like. I don't like it when they give FSD out for free for 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
What I would
okay.
what I would like to see better is them to at least say FSD for $5, something.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it.
when you give something away for free, you devalue it and you don't give people the impetus to actually try it. And
Hmm.
so if you even just put $1 on it, it's just some dollar figure on it, believe it or not, like this isn't Nick's just making things up. People slap the title enterprise onto things for a reason. Same software, but the second you say enterprise, you can charge more for it. People want it. It seems more exclusive. That's why you see all these
Marine.
plus. Yeah, there's all these like words that people attach to it. And it's also why you don't see any more something that used to be called community edition software. Essentially, this software that people would use is imagine like a company that has their own open source, but it's not open source. It's just like their free tier. They don't even do that
Mm-hmm.
anymore. Why? Because people bastardize and you have to keep up with it. Instead, they would offer compelling deals to get people to use something. And then they feel like, oh, I'm getting something. I got to use the thing I got. Otherwise, I'm missing out on my deal. And so I think there's a little psychology that Tesla could benefit from that as well. But I like the idea of bundling. I mean, supercharging is such an easy one to do. Tell people, hey, no, you don't have to pay for fuel at all for a year.
So I will fight you on that one because threes and Ys are so high selling that if you just made it open, the superchargers would be overwhelmed. What I would say is maybe free off peak, or even 90% off or 80% off all your off peak charging and 20% off your peak charging. I don't know. I just know that there are markets like Denver where the superchargers are at capacity,
Yeah.
where sometimes if they're not, I mean, there's always a lot of cars there. You might find three open stalls when it's not too busy, but threes and Ys are too plentiful for free charging, in my opinion.
This is where I'm so surprised that Tesla hasn't made a partnership yet with like Starbucks, for example, and say, hey, Starbucks, let's put superchargers in everyone. And then you could say, hey, free charging anytime you go to Starbucks for this month. Like there's so many things that they could do, but it baffles me that every Starbucks, like talk about the perfect place. Starbucks want people to sit there, linger, or work and hang out there. Great place to put superchargers. It just
I
makes
don't
so
think
much sense.
Starbucks still wants people to hang out there. It doesn't
You don't think
feel
so?
like they do. They've redesigned the lobbies to be not very inviting or comfortable.
Hmm.
And I think the trick with Starbucks is Starbucks doesn't own very much of the land. They have limited control over it. But you know
Hmm.
who has more control over the land is which is the Sonic
Oh,
Drive-In. Perfect. You've already
yeah.
got power to every parking
Yeah.
spot. I'm already going to be there. Use the same app that the Tesla Diner does. Oh, it's done. You're done. Just
Yeah.
thinking out loud here, guys. We're saving the world, is what we're doing. In the comments, what did we miss? What do we misunderstand? What should the price be? And what would you cut to get to it? Head over to Investing Against the Grain. Find out what Nick is up to. And everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy. And I can't wait to hear from you, clever robots, tomorrow when we're going to come back with our understanding of some of the crazier theories that we saw in the lead up to the announcement of these two slightly more affordable models.